All right, guys, so for the final dough of the pizza, we have 529 grams of flour. We have 15 grams of salt. Then you have 1.5 grams of yeast, 312 grams of water, and then we're gonna take 352 grams of our Poolish that stayed for 12 hours. It's very bubbly, foamy, and ready to go. For the pizza dough, it's gonna be a short mix. We already have our Poolish that rested or fermented for 12 hours. It's very nice and bubbly and ready to go. So it's gonna be a short mix, which, because we're using a KitchenAid like this, you know, the short mix is gonna require 600 revolutions per minute, which in all cases, we did the math when we did the baguette short mix. So it's about 4 minutes at speed stir or 1, and then another 4 minutes at speed 2. All right, so I always like to put my liquids in first. Liquids in first, I'm gonna add my yeast, and I'm gonna add then my Poolish. All right, then I'm just gonna top it off with my flour and my salt. I'm just gonna let this mix for a little bit. So I'm just gonna turn it on stir just a little bit so the Poolish gets combined with the water and the yeast gets a little bit hydrated. Well, you don't need a lot. Then I'm just gonna add my flour and my salt. And that's it. Again, because this is a short mix, you're gonna do speed stir or speed 1 for 4 minutes, and then you're gonna switch it to speed 2 another 4 minutes. All right, it's been 4 minutes on speed stir or 1. Now I'm gonna switch it to speed 2, and we're gonna do another 4 minutes. All right, it's been the other 4 minutes at speed 2, so our dough is ready at this point. We're gonna take it out. And now, because it's a short mix, you have to remember that it's gonna ferment for a little bit more time with folds in between. That way we develop a little bit more gluten with the folds. This particular dough it's gonna ferment for another 60 minutes with 2 folds. That means at 30 minutes you do a fold, and then another 30 minutes and you do a second fold. And then it's ready to use, right? Let's set it onto a spray bowl. And again, you're gonna set a timer for 30 minutes and then you're gonna do a fold. I also showed you how to do the folds in the baguette video. And then after that, another 30 minutes, you do another fold, and then you can go ahead and use it. Remember, these types of dough tend to be sticky, so just be mindful of that. And we'll come back in 30 minutes. So first of all, contents are going to be extremely hot, so I highly suggest you have good heat gloves. Now, again, 500 degrees, the maximum temperature, and you're going to want to set 40 minutes prior sheet pans inside of your oven. You want to put one the closest you can to the top. I could have gone one more, but it's kind of hard to see it, right? So these sheet pans have been preheating along with the oven, right? All right, guys, it's been 30 minutes, so we're gonna do a fold. There you go. Now another 30-minute timer, and we shall be good to begin doing our pizza. All right, in another half an hour. I'm gonna do another fold and then I'm gonna go ahead and use it. All right, so let's proceed to do our pizzas. We're gonna divide our dough. You have your shredded mozzarella cheese, you have your pepperoni, you have your fresh herbs, which if you didn't use for your rolls, that's completely fine. I did just for now my parsley, and I added the rest of the herbs in here along with some minced garlic and other stuff. If you want to make your sauce a little bit better, that's fine, but there's nothing wrong with just putting it like that. All right, for the dough, I think this would make 3 small pizzas. Let's see. So we divided our dough already. This is 350 grams. I did 3 pieces of 350 grams, and it kind of is going to give you, I will say, a small size pizza. All right. So what I'm going to do is, because I don't have a stone, I have a cake board and some foil. I am going to build it on top of the foil. That way I can slice it into the sheet pan. Put a little bit of foil. All right. You can also do it with parchment paper. That will work too. All right, that sort of works. Now what we're gonna do is that we are gonna put the sauce, and only the sauce, for about 4 minutes. By the way, if you got something that does not look like this, that looks more like a like a Sevilla, call it a salsa, like a Mexican salsa, it's just whole canned tomatoes. You just have to puree them. Remember, you also don't want to put like a whole bunch, because then you're gonna make something that's too wet. All right, so we're gonna put this in sauce first, and then we're gonna top it off with the cheese and our pepperoni. This is gonna go in for 4 minutes, and then we're gonna take it out and then put the cheese and the pepperoni and put it back for another 4 minutes. The temperature is really high. I set my oven to the maximum temperature, which is 500 degrees. And I'll show you kind of the setup that I made in the oven so I can put this close to the top heat. With the dough, remember, we tried not to stress it too much, and we're gonna start to stretch it out. You will not do this with a rolling pin against what you might want to do. You have to stretch it by hand, not using a rolling pin. Check on the size. So you see, no need for a rolling pin, no need. You can also use the parchment paper again to build it in. If we were at the deck oven at school, I would probably still build it on a parchment paper. That way we could basically put the parchment paper into one of our wooden boards, and then we just can slice it in. That prevents a lot of failure. And again, you want to put this in for 4 minutes, then take it out, put the toppings in, and put it back for another 4 minutes. At the highest possible rack. That way it gets a lot of heat from the top. Put this one. That looks very decent. Take this part out. So the board helps you to carry it, and then you have another piece of parchment that's going to help you to slide it in. All right, you can see I slide it in. Gloves. Alright guys, I just want to prove my point on why we build them on top of either parchment paper or foil. This one just came out of the oven, so I do have a cake board. I'm going to slide it up, and then I have a raw one, and I'm going to pick it up, and again I'm going to slide it off. And that's why, especially in this type of ovens, it's just very convenient to do that. Another thing I like to do is once it's ready, beautiful and ready, I like to brush on the edge some garlic oil or garlic butter. I'm not using my pastry brushes because then they'll get garlic impregnated. Now I do use them for pastries, so but this just gives the crust a nice finish. And that's it, guys. Pretty glorious pizza. Hope you guys enjoy this very much.